Hey, what's up my Dragon Legion? How y'all been? So the Dragoons, it's been a very long time since we've done a Vanguard deck profile on this channel. And today's Vanguard profile we're going to be doing is a deck profile of my Kagero DX deck profile. Now, it's been a build I wanted to do for quite some time. This is one of the reasons why I didn't post any Vanguard deck profiles for a while, is because I wanted to wait till I got this guy together first before I start making any builds of all this guy and such. The only thing I'm really missing to straight up complete this deck is 2 more X's, which by the time this video is uploaded, I should have the other 2 X's, and of course the 4 Root Flare Dragon Kings. Those are the only cards I'm missing, but nonetheless, I am glad that I'm finally able to put this deck together. It's a type of deck that I really like, that I definitely know by fact I love and enjoy. Not only allows me to utilize the obviously Legion mechanic, but it allows me to utilize both the abilities of Overlord DN and having this very nice ability of Overlord DX, where I can do a lot of great things and such. And the way how this build can be played out, it can be a very interesting build and kind of a little bit fun to play with every here and there. So I'll get right straight to deck profile, and I'll explain my choices of why I'm doing what I'm doing here and there, and all that etc. good such. So with that being said, let's get right straight on to the deck profile right now. Shall we, Dragoons? Alright, start off with your starting Vanguard. Of course, your 1 Red Pulse Dragon Kid. Typical standard staple for most Vanguard decks. The typical Counterblast 1, Pulse Soul Vanguard. Potentially get grade 3 from top of your being top of your 5 cards at the top of your deck and such. Nothing really too special with this guy right here. Yeah, nothing really to ignore there special. I have noticed that a lot of people are playing that one Dragon Knight started Vanguard, which is actually not a bad idea. I may give that card a try out, see how well it does. But for right now, the moment, I think Red Pulse Dragon Kid is the way to go right now for a deck like this, in my opinion. So 1 Red Pulse as your Forerunner starting Vanguard. Now for the trigger lineup, we have, of course, your 4 heals. No explanation needed why the 4 heals are so important. And if you Dragoons have saw my profiles and paths, I think you all will see this one coming from a mile away. The usual, typical standard 6 critical and 6 draw line over here allows me to be equal and balanced, being aggressive and be able to inflict as much damage as much as possible, while still be on defensive and be able to draw into what I need to draw the most. Now, what's so special about the draw triggers is that the draw triggers have abilities where if you want to do a certain thing in particular, they go and soul your Vanguard. So, because you will be using cards like Wyvern, Tower Wyvern, or Dragonic Burnout, which will require soul blasting. So you got these guys right here that will allow you to build up your soul a little bit, so you can have more cards of option to soul blast, etc. Such. Gallon Claw is very good because he's definitely answered those annoying forerunners you don't want to deal with. And while Equus, you probably don't need the plus 3000 built power ability, but it is there in case you want it. And again, just like Gatling Claw Dragon, he does go in your souls for free, so that's always a good thing right there. So that's my usual trigger lineup right there. That's how I like to roll when it comes to Vanguard. And now for the grade 1 lineup. For the grade 1 lineup, we have your 4 perfect guards, and these are the new perfect guards. I'm very happy to pick them up. 4 copies of Protect Orb Dragon. Standard perfect guard with the ability of, if he successfully nullifies the attack, if I have another copy of him in my drop zone, I can take 1 card face down on my damage, turn face up. So even though this deck doesn't really need Counter Blasting really that often, except for maybe Gatling Claw Dragons and maybe a Dragonic Overlord, and of course your grade 3 Vanguard, both Overlord EN and Overlord DX. But even them, they're both kind of cheap, costly as such in order to go over the abilities. But again, just the ability where you can just get back your damage back face up, so you can protect more attacks more often, is always very nice to have around, and a very great improvement to the original versions of Perfect Guards. So 4 Protect Orb Dragons. And next, 4 copies of Lava Flow Dragon. This deck is going to be a little bit, once I pick up the Supreme Root Flare Dragon Kings, this deck will be a little bit more stride based, and these guys will be ready for the action when that happens. Lava Flow Dragons are a really great card. Pitch only him, and you can stride into whatever guy you need stride into. So, and even if you can't use his use it for striding or such, he's always a decent grade 1 Vanguard, or always a decent 7k booster, etc. such. So, Lava Flow Dragon, a great support and help for decks like this. Depending on what happens in the near future, I may end up cutting one of the third level full dragons. I'm not 100% sure. I'll have to ponder on that. And then everything else for grade 1s is just typical standard stuff for Kagero. 3 Wyvern Tower, Soul Blast 2, draw 1 when he's called field. Helps with your Legion abilities, helps you drawing stuff, and helps you Soul Blast a little bit so you can have more cards to pick back in your deck when you go into Legion. Really great card. And then 3 copies of Dragon Ball Gojo. A basic Kagero standard. Rest him to pitch a card, draw a card. Nothing really too special. I think a lot of people, especially die-hard Kagero players, definitely know how good he is right about now. And that is it for the grade 1 lineup. For the trigger lineup, we have the 4 Dragon Burnouts. Burnout is a very great card. Soul Blast 1 to put an Overlord from your drop zone and bomb your deck, and then retire 1 rear guard that your opponent has on his or her side of the field. Very greatly important, and a great card to help you get rid of those annoying cards you don't want to deal with. And of course, get your Overlords back when you need to get your Overlords back for, like, say, abilities when you do your Persona Blasts. You were forced to pitch cards thanks to your Dragon Ball Gojo. You were healed them all thanks to your heal triggers, or you were forced to pitch them for your perfect guards. All that stuff or such. 4 Burning Horn Dragons because he's your 12k special attacker for decks like this, no explanation. And then 3 copies of your new 10k vanilla for Kagero, Wyvern Strike Doha. I am aware that Kagero did get their own version of 12k attacker, where as long as you have at least you're able to G blast at least once, etc. as such. I don't have any of him on me yet. They're all currently misplaced somewhere else. When I do get them, I might put them in. I might take these guys out for them. I'm not 100% sure. I'll have to ponder on that. But other than that, these guys are pretty great. These guys are pretty good substitutes in case something like that happens. We can't do so. But other than that, the grade 2 lineup is pretty much self-explanatory of how grade 2 lineup it normally is when it comes to decks like this. And now for the piece of resistance, the grade 3 lineup. For the grade 3 lineup, we have, of course, 4 copies of my ultimate most favorite card of the entire deck of card in Vanguard. That is 4 copies of Dragon Overlord the N. A lot of people, and some people in their builds of Overlord DX, they end up playing the build where you take out at least one of him and you put in 2 copies of Dragon Overlord the Great, which is actually not a bad idea. I'm not against it, but it's just something that I'm not really 100% on board about because the Overlord the Great is a little bit better than what most people give him credit for, and the X build at the same time with the way how this deck is normally played out as such. The X build, the Great is only so good in the X build to the point where by the time you get your X or your N going in a certain point of game, you may not really need the Great really too often and such. But the reason why the N is pretty good right here for I'll play maximum is for multiple reasons. One, you don't have to worry about dead draw. You don't have to worry about going through any situations where you don't run any mates around for your X, and also more options of cards are more likely to be able to pay the Persona Blast to your Vanguard. You can stand right back up and such, and him being your Vanguard instead of your X is not always a bad thing. Keep in mind, we're in a type of style of Vanguard where everyone loves striding a lot, so even if you end up riding into him instead of your X, it's not always a bad thing because, again, you're going to go straight to your stride guy, and you're going to go straight to your Vanguard anyway. So it's not really much of an impact, that bad impact, if you end up riding to him over your X. I mean, yes, in a build like this, you do want your X over the N, but now and then, it's not always a bad thing to ride the N over the X. And when you ride the N, and you actually will sometimes be able to pull off his Persona Blast ability. Just what I recommend in a deck like this, if you do end up riding into your N, have the N while being boosted by a guy attack into your opponent's weakest rear guard. That way, unless they perfect guard it, you can almost guarantee the attack will be hit. And then when you get your N during your drive check or such, you can just stand right back up and just proceed what you like to do the most with decks like this. So, for the end, no explanation. And as I mentioned in the beginning, I only have 2 more copies of him, of this card. The other 2 copies will be here by the time this video gets uploaded, and that is 2 copies of Overlord DX, a very great addition to the Kagero clan. For those who do not know what he does, he has Legion 22, 2000, which is his mate is Dragon Overlord DN, and when this unit Legion, search your deck for 1 card with the same card name as a unit in your Vanguard circle, reveal the opponent, put it in your hand, shuffle your deck. Also, he has Counterblast 1, choose a card with Overlord DX, otherwise Persona Blast for hand and discard it. At the end of the battle, this unit attacked. If the attack did not hit during that battle, you may pay the cost. If you do, choose up to 2 of your opponent's rear guards and retire it. So for those who do not know how this type of build will work out in this deck right here. So what your ideal goal is, obviously uses Legion. His Legion ability will allow your N to be your mate and all that such. While your N is your mate, unlike the grade 2 mates, the grade 3 mates normally have abilities that go off when they're in the Vanguard. So, unlike the grade 2 mates, the grade 3 mates, Overlord at the end right here, be more specifically, you will be able to go off with the N's ability even though he's not technically your Vanguard. So, what this means is, if you attack with them together, and if he hits, you can Persona Blast the N, and these guys will stand right back up and attack again. And what's so great about him is when you first go into Legion, you can search out either another copy of him, or you can search out another copy of the N, and depending on what the situation is, you can make your opponent, you can get a huge series advantage depending on what happens. If your attack is not a hit, you can Counter Blast only 1 card and Persona Blast 1 card, and you can retire 2 rear guards of your choice. If your attack is a hit, you can Counter Blast 2, Persona Blast 1, oops, sorry, 1 card, Persona Blast 1, and he can stand right back up. And depending on how the situation of the game is, you could even go off with both abilities. Have them attack together. If the attack is hit, Persona Blast the in, they stand 1 more time, attack with them again, their attack does not hit, this time Persona Blast with with the X, and you get to retire 2 rear guards, while at the end after doing all this, you were able to pull off having 2 twin drive checks all at once. So in a deck like this, that can actually be really good and really beneficial, and it can really help you out with a lot of difficult situations. And for the extra deck, I don't have any Root Flare Dragon Kings, so this is what I'm doing right now for the extra deck for my Kageros for now. All this is just a 4 Dragon Knight, 1 Atmos, and 1 Mersha. That's all I got going on for this extra deck. When I pick up my 4 copies of the Root Flares, I'll definitely be taking out one of these, and one or the other, I'll take out either one of these or one of these, and by then I'll have a complete 8 card extra deck for my Kagero deck. And yeah, so there, Dragoons, that right there was my Kagero the X build deck profile that I've been working on for quite some time. I want to thank you all very much for being patient with me. Thank you all for waiting very patiently for my lack of Vanguard videos. A lot of things came up where I couldn't put this deck together up till now. If you Dragoons want to see a build of this deck where I do use the Overlord DX, let me know in the comment section down below, and I may do another deck profile of this deck. Only except I will use the grade this time. And with that being said, while I'm at it, let me know what your Dragoons think about this deck profile in the comment section down below, and I will see you Dragoons around. Hope you Dragoons enjoy this video. Please leave a like and a favorite if you did. It really helps me out a lot, and share this video with other people as well. Follow me on Facebook and Twitter. Subscribe today to become part of the Dragon Legion Alliance, and I will see you Dragoons another day. Christian Dragoon, signing out. Peace.